Three, two, we are live.
Back again. Thought we was when we wasn't. You already know what time it is. It's time to go deep, straight to the
Deep.
point,
The
diving
point.
in, right on in. You know what I'm saying? You already know what the story is. If you ain't got that scuba gear, you better go on and get it, because we ain't giving no refunds on this shit. You feel me?
You did.
That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? We got the instructor and we got the specialist. Nothing else to say. Let's go right into it.
No
Shout out to
flotation
Schwebel
devices.
Room. Right on, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't demonstrate, we penetrate. Shout
Very
out to the
deep.
rest of the Schwebel Room squadron. Y'all know who y'all is. It's early. I just got off work. A brother's tired. Let's go.
Yeah.
Nah, Drews, what's going on with it, baby?
You know what it is. You know what it ain't.
Right on. And you got to
And
read between the lines to figure out what it might be.
indeed. Indeed.
Nah.
Read the room or explore the pool, whichever you want to do.
Just don't piss in it, because that blue shit come up and you will be
You
exposed.
will be marked for life
For
and
sure.
excommunicated from said activities.
You gonna be known as said pool pisser.
Ah, indeed,
From
indeed, my God.
here till eternity.
Yes,
Just saying.
yeah, never live it down. We'll make sure. So,
Facts.
welcome back. Welcome back. It's been about a month. What? 4 weeks?
Yeah, buddy.
Long
Yes,
overdue.
buddy. For
We,
sure.
we back in effect though, yo.
Yeah, man. So what's the word? What we speaking on today?
Man, today is a heavy heart type topic, but we're gonna try to keep it entertaining and informative as always. So we're going to be talking about child and human trafficking. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
more of a build add-on building block show as opposed to a continuation. We've touched on some child labor violation type issues in the past with some of the fast food restaurant chains and just crazy times, man. You would think we were back in the 20s, when it comes
Yeah,
to some things, you know.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, shoot, they say things don't change, they stay the same with time, you know what I'm saying? And shoot,
Oh
as
shit!
the
It
way
is the
things is
20s, ain't it?
looking right
2020s.
as the way things is looking right now, we see it. That's basically true.
Yeah. More
You know what I'm
things change,
saying?
the more they stay the same, y'all.
Word, word up. But I mean, shoot, yeah, there has been like in recent reportings, there has been a major surge in crackdowns on and sting operations on uh sex trafficking and all that type of stuff. And this is just my personal opinion. And for the record, this is all allegedly.
Allegedly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking this because it's getting close to that time, y'all. What's
Mhm.
next month? November. What
November.
happens at the beginning of November? Elections. And even though this is not the presidential election, it's getting close and they ramping up for these debates and all these campaigns and everything. And it's about to be chaos. Well, shoot, it already is chaos. It's about to be even more chaotic. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just thinking that all of this stuff right here is just to show who got the muscle, who can flex their muscle. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That's all what it seems like to me. And you got some people, some bases are trying to show off the rip, yo, this what I got going on right here. I'm about to go ahead and do all this, and that. Arrest all these people to show that I did this and I'm
Right.
cracking down on all this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be that dude when it's time to cast that ballot.
So, yo, remember the 5th of November. Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. Look, man, I just flashing back movie V for Vendetta. That's where that
Yeah.
line got famous from, right? Remember the 5th of November. And remember, we had a crew, mad crew. We had a dance group called Anonymous.
Shout out, man. I jammed with them for a couple of shows, man.
Yeah,
Shout
man.
out to all of them. Mike Groove,
Yeah, man.
Paul, PG13, Adrian, Bruce.
How you gonna skip over me? I'm one of the founding members.
Oh shoot, nigga. I shoot you out all the time, partner. Shit.
I'm just playing.
Quick
Yeah,
tripping, Debo.
shout out to all the fellas, man. Man, I hope everybody's
So
doing well. I believe
indeed.
most of them, most if not all, are doing very well. You
That's what's
know,
up.
some congratulations to PG13, Mike Groove, Rufus Black, Easy Access Dancer Crew.
Indeed.
Shout out to everybody, man. The Villains, Killers from the Creek, Self Made Records, Chopping Game Records,
You can't forget ill elements, brother.
Elements, Cold
You
Heat,
know what I'm saying?
Cold Heat
Gold heat
Entertainment.
for sure.
For sure, bro. Aero Fat.
Everybody from the
Yo, no joke. Yo, saying, oh,
Man Diollo.
yes, yes,
Beat down Brown,
Beat Down Brown.
the one on the boards.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
For
Word.
sure. For sure.
But yeah,
MIDI Mix
man.
Audio Works.
Facts.
The Stackhouse Holds
Facts.
building, baby. We
Facts. Hey, I can't forget my man Ben Levels, man.
B
Can't
Lav,
forget Ben.
B
Can't
Lav as
forget
I call him,
Ben.
my dude. Yeah, man.
Word.
Represent
Word.
Diamond, Ohio, baby, Southeast Raiders.
Indeed. Nah.
My guy, Juice. Shout out B Brown, Juice.
Shout out Juice. Can't
Keelan,
forget Juice
Excalibur.
either. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
There's
Yes,
mad
indeed.
talent out the Don't sleep on it.
Ever, ever,
Ever.
ever, ever.
Ever.
Shout out to my guys. Marcellus Hayes, it's been years, bro. Get at me if you can.
Can't forget
Yo,
about Marcellus,
yeah,
bruh.
man.
Shout out Leon Hopkins too. Lee
Leon,
Hop, what up? Kenny Ali, what up?
Jay Harris.
Yeah,
Ran into
man.
him not too long ago, my guy. Yeah, man.
Show, man.
Family.
Mad talent. We could do it. We might have to do a whole show on that for
For
real.
sure. For sure.
For sure.
Sure. Yeah, man. But like you said, it's the big ELECTION.
Yeah,
Elect Ion time coming up. And
that
you know,
part.
they're buzzing in the media with all sorts of topics, all kind of distractions. But one of the main things that we should pay attention to without being distracted is our children missing.
That part.
I want to say it was over 30 children they said missing from the city of Cleveland, Ohio. And this was maybe 3, 4 weeks ago,
And
or
that's
longer.
sad, bro.
And it's been more and more every single day.
That's sad.
People got to pay attention. We have to pay attention to our highways and our roadways, man. If you see something, say something.
That
Everybody's a
part.
mandated reporter. You're not law enforcement, but you can definitely, blow the whistle if you see some foul things taking place in your presence, or even suspect there might be something going. It doesn't hurt to check, man. Listen, um, these highways are so routed in such a way, and
Mm-hmm.
especially in the heart-shaped state. That's my home. Sorry, I'm quoting a song from a guy from back in the day in the Columbus area. Shout out to Nest Words. Shout out to the whole Diamond crew. Anyway, these routes, man, they can hop on, and be 3 states away by the time somebody realizes that you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a teenager, you come across our podcast, it's not really geared towards, that age demographic per se, but we don't discriminate. As long as the material is suitable, we encourage you to watch, when you'd like to. And, share, subscribe, check us out on Rumble and YouTube and, occasionally Facebook here. But yo, they can snatch you, man, and be gone 3 states away. By the time
Word.
somebody reports that you're missing or they haven't seen you in a while, you know,
Word.
and there's adults that's been snatched, right from Richland County, where I've spent a great deal of time over the years, and it's scary, man. It's scary, you know.
Yeah, man.
Some people turn up, unalived, and some people don't turn up at all, and you can only surmise what's happened to them or what their fate has been. Being a former employee, of in corrections and in behavioral health, I've dealt with both adults and teens that have been in the trafficked position in the exploited, realm, and just the horror stories, man, and just the unbelievable um, things that men and women do to one another, and to children.
Man, but you
You
know what's sad though, bro? Like the thing is, like down here, that stuff is just like it's lightweight normalized. That's how sad it is, bro. Like I get so many daggone Amber alerts on my phone. It's just like you look to see like what it'll say, like so and so, like age, whatever, blank blank, female or male, abducted by so and so such and such vehicle. And it's like you look to make sure it ain't one of your kids or somebody that you might
know.
know. But it's just like normalized now, dude. It's real sad.
I mean, speaking of which, let's talk about it.
Well, let's do that.
Since this is your domain currently or domicile. Let's see. I can't scroll that way. So let me. Yo, I think I pulled up the wrong thing, but we'll bear with me. Okay, this is the information on Texas. Somewhat. Let's see.
Nah,
Just mainly reported.
we
But
can
go ahead.
speak we can speak on that because I have a segue for another one of the clips that you got. But yeah, it's like
Okay.
really normalized, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is they have so many different types of color alerts down here. It's like, well, let me Google this to see what this type of alert means. But I mean, of course, everybody knows what an amber alert is, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of them, okay, like you look to see where it's coming from, like what
Yeah.
area of the state it's coming from, you know what I'm saying? So like, and a few of them have been from around like the DFW area. I mean, you get a lot from like maybe like San Antonio, Houston, you know what I'm saying? But regardless of where it's from, it's still somebody's child that's been abducted. That's the most important part of it, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And I mean, of course, the majority of it is probably like some domestic related type of activity, but still, we don't know that
Yeah.
until like all the data's collected and everything, and like the news reports come out. When you get that alert, you just know somebody's child has been taken from them, which is foul. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Indeed.
madness. But um, yeah, if you look at this map, I mean, the majority of the ones that are the darkest are basically coastal or border states, which, I mean, that's kind of no, I'm not gonna say normal, but you can kind of, and I don't even want to say understand it because you shouldn't have to understand it, but
Yeah.
you can see why that would be where those are the most colored in, you know what I'm saying? And then like you look at like your big cities like New York, of course, because that's a big melting pot and everything. But
Right.
let's look at you look at Ohio again. Like, why would Ohio be one of the most trafficked states? You know what I'm saying? But again, as you were saying with the highways,
Yes, sir.
you gotta think. Uh, I mean, shoot, not just with child trafficking, but shoot, any kind of alleged trafficking,
Yeah.
Ohio is kind of basically like the midway point. I mean, we spoke on that before. You think about it. From New York City to Chicago, again, our fair home of Youngstown is basically the midway point.
Hmm.
So, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's right, specifically positioned on the border of Ohio and Western Pennsylvania.
Right.
And that whole territory. I won't go too far into that because that's another show, another topic for another day. But that Ohio Valley is connected to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Shenango
Hmm.
Valley, which is Sharon, Farrell, Mercer County, basically. You know what I'm saying? Which
Hmm.
leads going up towards Philadelphia, towards that region. Which of course is right across the way from Jersey and New York. So
Right.
you have almost every major thoroughway or thoroughfare, highway, etc., crosses through Ohio, and
Basically.
routes to some other direction or other place.
Basically. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, you figure you got access to, I mean, like you were saying, Philadelphia and all that. That's access to I-95.
right.
Uh, you figure you keep going 80,
Hmm.
you can hit 90, which is the major hub, not major hub, but you can hit I-75, which that's Detroit straight to Atlanta, which
Hmm.
can also lead straight to Miami. Straight shot,
Straight shot.
straight shot. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that right there, that's the whole East Coast right there, bro.
And the further south you go, the faster the speed limit.
That part,
You know what I'm
that
saying?
part. And I mean, when I'm saying you figure, okay, boom, you're talking about I-75 South, that's straight to Atlanta,
Yeah.
where not with that's the only city in America that does not have like a major body of water as far as like a lake or a river, but that's the capital of the train hubs.
Right.
So you can hit from anywhere in the country. That's where the trains is coming in and out of. So boom, you can hit the trains from that. So that's a whole other route that you can traffic stuff through.
Facts.
So I mean, there's and again, we not trying to give nobody no ideas. Let that be clear, because that's foul.
Bad.
But
Yeah.
we just letting y'all know that there are many different ways that that can happen. So you need to just keep your eyes, ears open, and head on a swivel. And again, if you see something, say something. It's not considered snitching if it's somebody's baby, because you would want it to be. You will want somebody to tell you if it was yours. We
Fact.
ain't out here in these streets. We citizens.
There you go. There you go, man. We're people first and foremost. We're of the people, for the people, by the people.
And that's word.
The people are under constant attack these days, and there's many efforts to divide the people, to keep the people from staying, abreast of what's really important and unifying along the lines of specific important issues. Our children are the most important. They're not to be cliche, but they are the future.
Word.
And there's just outright blatant talk and efforts and actions and money being put behind, sterilization, child trafficking, human trafficking. Um, all these things are connected, y'all. And
Yeah.
it's not that we don't want to, but it's not our job per se to connect all of the dots for you. Some of the research and some of the dives have to be at your own expense and at your own risk. But we will do our best to bring you the deeper dives and the instruction and the specialty of what we come across and what we've already known and experienced throughout this journey called life. But yeah, man, these states, man, check these states. This is wild. This is wild, man. and
For sure. And I mean, you gotta think about it, man.
it shapes a funnel. If you look at how the statistics, it's almost
Man,
like a funnel.
I
California is
mean,
number 1, by the way. It's cut off, but Cali is number 1.
but if you look at if now let's check this out though too. You look at the states that are the reddest, the darkest. They're not the they're not just the highest in human trafficking. They're also the highest in other traffic things as well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I mean, the thing is, I'm not saying that it's not true as to what they're saying, but again, it's election time.
Facts.
I'm not saying that the numbers are padded, but again, it's election time.
Yeah, and it is very interesting that the majority of the states, besides what Texas, Florida,
In
Ohio,
Cali,
um, yeah. Well, is Cali a red state or is it a blue state now?
it's probably blue, but I mean, you never know nowadays.
Well, Georgia and Ohio definitely usually red, and Michigan's usually blue. New York, blue.
I mean, the thing is, like us, the thing is though, shoot, as with this climate change, the culture is starting to change as well too. You know what I'm saying? You got a whole lot of states that you may have thought was one color starting to change a little bit. So I mean, but in the same sense though too, alleged election tampering can
Hmm.
change some of these states as well. I mean, so ain't no way to tell with anything. Everything is allegedly corrupt.
And back to your earlier aforementioned statement, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Right.
So, yeah, I
Right
feel you.
on.
I feel you because one will just swap out for the other. In
Right
other
on.
words, you know,
Right on.
um, man, listen, we have had several stories. I mean, it's so hard to keep up with nowadays. Um, from Disney workers, and teachers being involved in Florida, um, with human and child trafficking to the foster care system.
Man, but that I was having a thought about that thing in Florida with the Disney workers and the teachers and the coaches and all that stuff. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I feel everything on that, and I agree. It's all kinds of jacked up that people would do that. But in the same sense, ain't this the same state that then had the most cases of teachers sleeping with their students?
You know what? I have never researched that in particular.
The majority of the times that I've heard about these cases, a lot of that stuff that happened in Florida, bro.
Listen, I'm not disputing that whatsoever. You know that.
But I'm
Um,
saying too, think about it now. They just had, I mean, that could change now that they didn't had that new law to pass with that death penalty with the whole thing with the child rape and all that stuff now. So
let's go into that. Do you have any do we have any vetted information on that yet?
I don't have anything vetted on it. I had just
Okay.
looked at a couple of things, but I don't have any like vetted information. So I really can't speak like directly on that at the moment. I had just skimmed over it. But I mean, let's talk about this right now and how trifling some of these fools was to lead their kids to go get them a little piece of something.
Man,
Was it that deep? Or
was
let's
it?
just say serious, because I don't even want to go about how deep it was, because that's a whole other topic. And the fact that you got this little OnlyFans ad right here, that's a whole nother rabbit hole I ain't trying to go down, bruh. I'm just saying.
I mean, how's that? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand you want to get maximum attention, right, for your product, but come on, man.
Bruh,
Right here, where we look, right on the left
bruh,
column, look right on
bruh,
the left column, and then you just roll on over. Boom,
bruh. Human trafficking OnlyFans.
boom. Okay.
Bruh, bruh. Stop playing with me.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
let's
They
get in.
they know
Let's get
they
into
know
this
what they're
though.
doing, bro. They know what they're doing. But
Indeed,
yeah,
it's contradictory. It's like
as all get out.
Yeah, two ends against the middle, man. You can't win for
That's
losing.
all. That's all get out.
It says three Disney employees, a school athletic director, and a father who left his 1-year-old home alone to have sex were among 219 people arrested in a major human trafficking bust in Florida, authorities said Thursday. The 7-day undercover operation earlier this month led to 44 felonies and 242 misdemeanor charges against the dozens of suspects, 35 of whom are suspected of being in the country illegally, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said during a news conference. Overall, 83 suspects were charged for soliciting prostitution or traveling to the undercover location to negotiate having sex in exchange for money, the sheriff said. Freddie Escalona, 30, and Maria Guzman, 36, were charged most severely with human trafficking due to Operation Traffic Stop 2 that started September 19th. So they got whole operations of this. Now here's what I want to point out. Just in 7 days, you uncover over 200 people. What would a month-long investigation? What would a 2-month-long investigation yield?
My point exactly.
How
And
how
my
many, pardon my French, how many motherfuckers in a county are possibly involved or have some level of knowledge that would incriminate or connect them directly to?
now here's another question. Why y'all start this shit in September? Y'all probably knew about this a
Mm.
long time ago. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
probably could have been had this done, and
Say
y'all
word.
probably could have eliminated a whole lot of this a long time ago.
Say word.
And on top of that, my other question is, as you were saying, like a 7-day investigation. Now, let's just go a little bit deeper into this. How many, allegedly, how many people were tipped off about this investigation
Yeah,
and were in the cut on the low
on
that
the
did
low.
not get that did not get arrested, because it was probably way more people that were involved in this.
So Freddie and Maria had, they're not saying they were innocent at all, but
Yeah,
they're
but you
they're the
had to
fall
have
guys.
somebody else to be the bong
They're the
right there.
heavies. They're the heavies. They're the brand new heavies. So it says another 17 suspects were accused of collecting money from prostitution or helping prostitutes conduct business. But probably, listen, y'all, probably allowing them to come into their homes during certain hours, you know what I'm saying, to conduct business, quote unquote.
To host.
The host business, yeah, host, yeah, guests, yeah. So caught up in the sting were three Disney workers, including a security guard, custodian, and training coordinator. Judd said, what would an op be if we didn't arrest someone employed by Disney?" Judd quipped. Wow. Why say that though?
Right,
Mm,
right.
mm.
Exactly.
What would it not be if we didn't arrest someone employed by Disney?
So to me, it kind of seems like y'all already had this plan in motion. Y'all already knew who y'all was specifically going after.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Of course they would. You
Y'all
know,
had somebody on the inside to point you in the right direction. But the fact that y'all had somebody on the inside to point you in the right direction, to me, allegedly means that somebody on the inside was already in on it.
yeah, yeah. It goes further on to say Vanguard School Athletic Director Russell Rogers, who also is an Auburndale High School Real Academy teacher in the county, was arrested for allegedly soliciting a prostitute. The married father of three was also a former youth football coach, Judd said. Now they just going after a pound of flesh. This dude now is coaching in county jail. he said. I can't believe we want somebody like this around our children. Polk County schools told the Fox 13 they were disappointed to learn of the allegations against Rogers and were moving to fire him. Part of being an educator is understanding that you're held to a higher standard for your actions, classroom, in the classroom, sorry, as well as the community. The school system said in a statement, these charges don't involve students, and Rogers was not on duty as a teacher, but this kind of conduct still has no place in our school system. So he just got kind of tossed up in the mix because he was caught dirty, doing this thing. Not to justify, engaging in prostitution allegedly, uh, although being between consenting adults, I mean it's a crime of a different nature. Um, but among the more shocking allegations in the case was a father who left behind his 1-year-old daughter to have sex. How many times is this happening every single day in every single city, in every single state or country? Uh, but he got brought up into this particular sweep, but allegedly insisted to investigators that the baby was being watched by the family dog.
Yeah, he probably listen. Dude probably was like, "Okay, Rover, now you're gonna watch Little Tanner, and I'm gonna put this movie on, and you're gonna make sure that Tanner just stays right here, eats this applesauce, and watches this movie. I'll be right back." Allegedly.
Allegedly. Now, allegedly, this was important enough to mention amongst the irony of the topic and nature of the topic, because while he's out trying to get some or getting some and leaves the baby alone at home, some of the other traffickers could have came right and snatched the baby.
That part.
So another man brought his 15-year-old daughter he shares, interesting choice of words, with his ex-wife to the area for her birthday, but instead left her in a motel room to have sex somewhere else, he said. For her birthday, we arrested her dad, Judd said, and put him in the jail. Two
Now,
women also dragged. Oh, go ahead. You about to say?
now, like you was saying for the last story about someone coming and getting a 1-year-old. Now, what if this 15-year-old was like, well, shoot, it's my birthday. I'm in a motel room by myself. Let me make some calls. Calls her little boyfriend up, allegedly, because I mean, I don't know what the little girl, what her little issue, her story is. So I'm not trying to judge or prejudge, I should say. But let's just say she called her little boyfriend up, said, "Hey, I'm at so and such and such. I'm gonna shoot you my location. Come through. I'm by myself." A few minutes later, knock on the door. She opens it, expected to be her boyfriend, and it's not.
Right.
This is all allegedly. I'm
Legend.
just saying. You know what I'm saying? So,
Priest. Yeah.
man, dude's thinking with the wrong head. Stupid. Stupid.
There's no way in hell I'm dropping my daughter off at a hotel at 15.
That part.
She'd be lucky to get a
That
ride to a motel at 25.
that part.
Uh, any of y'all, if y'all watch this ever. Anyway, so two women also dragged a 14-year-old child with them when they want to have sex, Judd alleged. While one woman was busy, the other woman watched the child. That's a wow. I'm gonna leave that one alone for the moment. I have to process that. And a couple of high-level executives at California-based companies were also arrested. California-based companies. One complained to sheriff deputies as he was arrested. Judd said, "It's not against the law to cheat on your wife." Judd said the man whined. So here all the way from California to cheat on his wife, but he paid money to cheat on his wife. It's called prostitution. At least 21 possible human trafficking victims were identified out of the 119 alleged prostitutes who were taken into custody, the sheriff's office said.
Gonna hold on one quick second here, just to play devil's advocate on that.
All right.
Now, he said he loud, like you said, dude said it's not against the law to cheat on your wife. Now, this is all allegedly. I don't condone any of it.
Correct.
But he
Neither do
said it's not against the law to cheat on your wife. And so he came all the way from California when he paid money to cheat on his wife. He said it's called prostitution. What if it was just called shipping and handling?
Or OnlyFans.
Man, I came to deliver a product.
Or Instagram.
Just saying.
Meetups, hookups.
Well, what was that product called? Dick donations. Again, allegedly, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't agree with any of this. I don't condone any of it.
Neither of us do,
I just
but I
got
get
off
it.
work. I'm tired. This is the entertainment portion of the podcast. Okay, go.
Okay, go. Yeah, man. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot involved with that. A lot of fluff, as well. I want to find the story that was occurred maybe. Ooh, I want to say a couple months ago, maybe longer, of the bust they made in Florida, where it was like over 100 victims, and they were all directly from Ohio, but in Florida.
Now, see, I've heard stories about a lot of Ohio victims going to the Atlanta area, allegedly.
Well, I mean, these are like mass abductions or
yeah, I feel you.
Compilations of abductions, but being moved for whatever reason in caravans. In caravans, I don't mean the vehicle model type. Shout out to Dodge. But they were, large groups of children, and I want to say there were some adults as well that were being exploited, that were stolen from Ohio territory or state and taken to Florida. Then they probably, of course, they would have passed through Georgia. So, I mean, what you're saying is relevant yet and still. They just didn't catch them until they got all the way into Florida. You know what I mean? So this is very sad. There's been several rings busted right in central Ohio. I won't single out the exact. Well, you know what? It's in the stories. Richland County, Franklin County, Marion County. I mean, there's. When I worked in behavioral health, it was for teens and preteen lockup, and they called it lockup, but it's only because they weren't allowed to leave the facility. But they were supposed to be in there for treatment. A lot of them were sentenced, and I hate to use that word there, by alleged judges. The reason I use the word alleged is because some of those judges years later have been arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And there was a man that a lot of people didn't like several years ago that was a tremendous documentary filmmaker named Michael Moore from Flint, Michigan. And Mr. Moore put out a documentary. I want to say the name of this one was Capitalism, a Love Story. And he featured the fact that these children were being sent to these behavioral and psychological lockup type scenarios. And they really had no federal jurisdiction or authority to assign these children. And a lot of them were taken to locations outside of their home state, to nearby states. Man, the stories. You know, I remember there was one uh, teenage girl. She explained to me how her mother used to take her along to entertain men in motels, and they would literally be side by side in the same
Mm,
room.
it's crazy, son.
And then they would go. She would take her to go and get drugs with her so that she could deal with the trauma. And that was her mom's idea of bonding. She said her mom always told her that they were best friends. They did everything together.
Wow.
There's some sick people out here, y'all. Some very sick people out here. Watch
Yeah,
your
but in
kids.
this, got to see how was her mom raised though? What kind of trauma did her mom go through though? You know what I'm saying? To
It's
think that that
possible.
was cool. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
highly likely that there had to been some, right?
Right,
However, you'd be disturbed to find out just how many people are just messed up, and they grow up like everybody else. Not saying that everybody else isn't messed up in some way, because
right.
I think that a lot of us could really look back and say certain things messed us up in one way
Yeah,
or
I
another.
say I done been through some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, me too, me too. So I remember when we were coming up, watching Sally Jesse Raphael, watching Donahue, Oprah in the early days. You know, statistics like 85% of children in America have been molested or physically or sexually abused by a close member of the family, a neighbor, you know, or someone in their community or church.
yeah.
So we're looking at the byproduct of those times and that bygone generation, and this is the product. And I think that the number one business in the world has always been human trafficking. Some people
In
call it
some form of
slavery,
another.
white slavery, the African slave trade. We have so many different versions, and everybody feels that their version is worse, or that no version is more, worse than their own. But this is the human condition, y'all.
Yeah.
This is the condition of humanity. And what are we going to do about
And shoot, in the same sense, a close relative allegedly can also be a foster parent or
it? Correct.
somebody in that home because I mean shoot, I mean you look at that, uh there's been many cases of children that have been in foster homes. Now you got a whole lot of good foster parents and
Yeah.
good foster homes, but you still might have that one person that's in that foster home, or shoot, not even in the foster home, they might be coming through to visit, that might be on some real slime ball type action, you know what I'm saying, and might want to play a little game with you, and then
Mm.
next thing you realize a couple years later, yo, that was foul what happened to me, you know what I'm saying, shoot, matter of fact, it's in her autobiography. It happened to Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
It's in her autobiography.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was some old man that was in one of the foster homes that she was in
Hmm.
used to do something wild to her, and she speaks on that in her autobiography. And she didn't realize what it was until one of her homegirls told her that.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that can happen to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
It's happened to a lot of people, man. I know a few people grew up in foster care, and just um, some of the treatment, man, you wouldn't find people's pets treated in that manner.
Bruh,
Um,
trust me, I know some people that were in foster care, and I had an uncle who was a caseworker,
hmm.
and like when he would come and pick me up from like whenever I was in daycare or whatever, sometimes he would have to go check on some of the kids and stuff, and I would see some of that stuff firsthand, bruh. Yeah,
Oh,
I feel you. I feel you.
my grandmother and my two great aunts both worked with CPS back in the day. Um, and they would tell me just a little bit about some of the horror stories, not detailed, but just some of the things that they would tell me. And then the kids, the sad part is the kids would still rather be with their biological parents, despite some of the horrific abuse they suffered at their hands. So imagine to going from that thinking, oh man, well at least I'm not gonna have to deal with blah blah blah, and then now you got to deal with something 10 times worse, with somebody
Word,
who is not only sick, but they have no connection to you whatsoever. There's no blood. There's no.
word,
Um,
word.
a shout
I
out to the good foster parents.
Yeah, shout out to all of them.
Shout out to the the, the,
Real.
the lifesavers and the world changers, because some of you are, and I know that. Um, shout out
Indeed.
shout out to the Satries, uh, great people, north side of Youngstown, professors at the university, stand up people, excellent foster parents. I know because,
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. That was one of my professors.
yeah, man, great people, um,
Dude
great
was
people,
mad
man,
cool.
great people, man. But yeah, this, you know, I know others, friends of my family. I don't know if they want their name said. So, but sorry if I shouldn't have said the Saturday name, but they were great. They're great people, man, and they were great foster parents by the testimony of the two kids they raised. Um, you know, directly to me that they've shared with me over the years, and I haven't cleared sharing their story, so I would never speak that publicly without their consent or presence. But yeah, man, tremendous people out there, but there are also some monsters,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
monsters. I mean, just I won't even go into that aspect of it, but the dangers of foster care. I just wanted to bring this up. Anti Trafficking International is a website, you guys could check out, but it just says that foster care is not always safer than the home from which kids are removed. You know,
That part.
because you could have a kid removed because there's not enough food in the house, and the parents are either impoverished, barely working, unemployed, or between working but just not making enough to have certain things in the house at all times. And it's not that the kids are completely starving. In some cases they're emaciated. I mean, they're near the point of death because not because no one cares about them, but because they just can't make ends meet. They can't provide
Right,
enough nutritional food, um, and it's really sad. It's a real condition. Um,
right.
Sometimes we get lulled to sleep by social media, man. Out here, everybody living their best life. It's not really like that, y'all. It's not really like that. And then when some people reach out for help and they say something because they need something, other people come right behind to shame them or bully them, just like when we was back in elementary and high school, man.
Yeah,
It's
buddy.
just not cool, man. If somebody's asking for a cash app and they're being straightforward enough to tell you what's happening with them, I'm not saying you got to be the one to give, but at least keep your mouth shut. If
Or
you can't,
point
if
him
you
in the
can't
right
help them,
direction.
if you can't help them or don't want to help them, don't hurt them.
Right. I
Don't hurt
mean,
them
shoot.
worse.
Or if you want to be a help to them and not be public with it, you can always DM them and put them in the
Yes,
right direction that way. You know what I'm saying?
yes, indeed.
I mean,
Resources.
because the real deal with that is, again, I honestly think that they should do like a deeper dive into these checks with everything, or a more thorough check on this stuff. You know what I'm saying? If it's
Absolutely.
something of that case and they
Yes.
just can't afford, like Drew's is saying, then at least try to get them some help. If they're trying, then at
Right.
least try to help them. You know what I'm saying? Help people who are trying to do something. You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying? Instead of removing them from a loving home and putting them somewhere where it ain't no love, but there's food.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you could turn a bad situation to a worse situation and victimize an entire family. By that I mean this. Let me spell this out a little bit more clearly. You take a child out of a home because their parents are not able to provide enough food, or their utilities are shut off, so they're living in what we would consider subpar conditions these days, but at one time was the norm for everybody. Okay. So because they're a little behind technologically or with the common amenities of what most people consider normal, you take them out of that environment where they're still loved, still being provided for, mostly as much as is possible, not being neglected. It's just a matter of lack, right? You take them from that situation of lack and make them a rape victim. And then when
That
they
part.
get put back in that house, that whole family has to deal with that trauma.
Word.
Anyway, I get emotional when it comes to this stuff because the shit is real, y'all. And
Yeah, but you human, bruh. You human, bruh.
I tell you, man, the number one business in the world is still human trafficking, man. And there's many different levels of it. So we just wanted to make the audience aware, that even in foster care, even with CPS, I'm not knocking people who do those jobs or fill those purposes in life, right? Because with over 40 million orphans, this was a debate topic between Obama and what was his name? He's deceased now. Arizona former governor
McCain.
McCain, John McCain, senator. Sorry, not governor. Senator McCain, and their debate at the Saddleback Church, Rick Joyner's church, and they brought this topic up of abortion, and they were saying that with over 40 million orphans that still don't have homes, um, why would you outlaw abortion? Anyhow, that's a whole nother topic once again. But you have children placed in large group homes and often face inadequate adult supervision. I had a cousin or two experience this, and they're at risk of being lured by teen trafficking recruiters within the home or by traffickers outside the home promising money and a sense of belonging. They also face, people who are jealous and angry because of their appearance, their looks, or the fact that it's a temporary situation for them. They did something wrong. They were with the wrong group of kids. They got caught up, and now they have to serve out some type of temporary separation from their family. But they end up scarred, literally. Girls jump by other girls holding razor blades, slice their face because they're pretty. Uh, Boys being raped by other boys or sodomized by some object because they want to strip them of their pride, all types of things. They say sadly it's known that child predators desire to live and work around children, and this has created the ugly reality for CPS and their involvement with human trafficking. But we've all seen this firsthand, people. um, it's time, not on live air, not online, but not on social media, but it's time to start getting together and deciding what to do about this, because obviously
Word.
obviously the powers that be, TPB, they ain't doing it. They're using this
Only
as a
when it's
photo op, and
only when it's convenient.
this is a photo op, people.
Only
And
when it's convenient.
you know and it's sad because while much awareness needs to be brought to this, and attention needs to be brought to this issue, we're not really getting even half the story. Um,
Nah.
and don't buy into just the political agenda of some of the reports, because it's not one presidency, it's not one administration, and it's not one agency involved with this. It's just not.
Right.
As much as, some of us would like to side with our favorite personality in the social climate that has been, developed in this country, it's just not realistic to think that there's nobody that would be on the quote unquote side you're on that is guilty of this, because
Right.
there are.
Right. Right.
37.4% of children in the U.S. will be interviewed by CPS by the time they reach age 18. That's the same exact number that senator pointed out when questioning the woman over the what was the agency about the 85,000 children, migrant children missing.
Mm.
That's that's the same percentage of children reunited with their parents that crossed the border.
So basically, you just took one number from one thing and placed it in another one. So the math ain't mathing.
I'm gonna try to show this. Let me see. If I could, fair use. This is gonna be from somebody's X feed, not, formerly known as Twitter. But this is not national news.
Accompanied because someone has abandoned them. Why don't we refer charges for abandonment? I'm not asking you to do the law enforcement work, but my goodness, if your job is your obligation, statutory obligation is to care for those minors, my goodness, if you saw somebody beating up some little kid on the street, wouldn't you call the police?
Of course I would.
Thank you, ma'am. I yield the balance. Well, let me ask you this then. On March 31st, 2021, so just a couple days later, ORR eliminated the background check requirement for immediate relatives other than a parent or legal guardian. Why would that be? How does that enhance the obligation to care?
ORR's belief is that a child is best with their parent.
Okay, awesome. I believe that too. Let me ask you this. How do you know that they're with their parent? How do you know? Are you familiar that the Department of Homeland Security under 8 U.S.C. 1365B shall create a biometric entry and exit data system, right? Even though they haven't implemented anything like that, other than asking and other than public source information, how can you be sure it's their parent?
Congressman, we go through a number of vetting procedures. We ask
sure you do.
the child and the parent or the sponsor questions on the same day. We verify things with consulates.
Okay, so what's the percentage of children that are reunited with their parent? Provable. What's your percentage? And how do you prove that?
We go through a number of steps.
No, what's the percentage, ma'am? I know you go through a number of things. You're stalling. Just answer. Just tell me. Do you have a clue?
So in this fiscal year, I believe 37%.
37% end up with their parent.
With their parent.
Let me ask you this: do you ever refer for charges for abandonment? Do you understand that abandonment in many states is a felony offense? And these children are coming to the border without their parent, which qualifies them as unaccompanied, right? That's the characterization. Are the charges ever referred for abandonment?
Congressman, ORR is not a law enforcement.
I didn't say you were a law enforcement. I didn't ask you to enforce the law. Do you ever refer? Like if you found somebody doing a criminal act in your vetting process to one of these children, you're not a law enforcement agency, would you refer charges in that case?
We would refer to the and report to the
Okay,
appropriate
so how
authorities.
many have you
Absolutely.
referred or reported for abandonment?
Our job
Is that zero? Because they're all coming to the border unaccompanied. And if they're unaccompanied, that means they don't have their parent, right? I mean, by
Congressman,
definition.
our job by Congress is to provide for the care.
God
and
bless you. We
safety
want you
of
to do the job. The
children who are
question
in our
is,
care.
these kids, look, I'm not reading from stuff that I made up. We got ORR sent over 100 unaccompanied children to a single family house in Texas. I mean, if this vetting process is working, how does that happen? Whistleblowers from ORR knowingly transferred UAC to criminal and sex traffickers. If this process is working, how is that happening? A Florida grand jury pointed out an incident where 24-year-old male was erroneously vetted as a child by ORR and then proceeded to violently murder his sponsor. I'm sure you saw it in the news. If this process is working, how are these things occurring? And let's face it, these children are coming and they're unaccompanied because someone has abandoned them. Why don't we refer charges for abandonment? I'm not asking you to do the law enforcement work, but my goodness, if your job is your obligation, statutory obligation is to care for those minors, my goodness, if you saw somebody beating up some little kid on the street, wouldn't you call the police?
Of course I would.
Thank you, ma'am. I yield the balance.
Now, how do we believe you? Not just, she's seeking, well, she is seeking us to believe her because, those are the answers she's given in open session, right?
Them answers ain't believable, bruh. We
not
don't
a
believe
damn one.
you. You need more people. Bruh.
Yeah.
First off, it was too many pauses before she answered. So that already let you know that there's some flam going on in that. Then it's like this, bruh. Like the dude was saying, if these children were coming over unaccompanied or without their parents and they were unaccompanied, now this is just me speaking, allegedly, how many parents just gonna let their child roam across the border unaccompanied?
Zero.
So either something has happened to their parents, which is what I'm thinking right there. Something had happened to them for this to be the case. Allegedly.
Most definitely, I would dare say that more than just allegedly, their parents have been removed from the equation. And with that number of children, 85,000, it's highly unlikely that all of those people from that area just have no care for their children's future or desire to rear their children.
That part. So, with that being said, if allegedly the parents have been removed from the equation, how is it that 37% of them have been reunited with their parents?
Maybe they rented them out, and I hate to say that. This sounds so ugly.
But the vetting process and asking them questions on the same day, so were the answers written in crayon? Bruh, the math ain't mathing. Allegedly.
Once again, allegedly. Hypothetically, this is beyond problematic and even more so unbelievable. I would say unfathomable, but obviously, with the discussion being as ongoing and continuous as it has been and needs to still be, there's something very, very wrong.
Very, very wrong. Very wrong.
Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for joining us with Deeper Dives Dialogue Unlimited. Y'all, hey, help a brother out. $
Word.
Goldtron 313, $Druzy 41. You know, we'd like to continue to do this, and we'd like to bring higher quality and higher vibrational content and things to you. So, please like, share, subscribe, join our community.
Indeed.
Donate, support Schwebel Room. We have a NFT marketplace, schwebelroom.com. We have merch.
All that. Spread
we
the
have
word.
Yes,
Spread
indeed.
the word.
Shout out once again to 3PMD.
Word.
Beat Down
Brown.
and the whole crew.
For sure. Old Man Ali.
Old Man Ali.
Old Painless. Eddie P. For sure.
Yes.
Check them out every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Shout out Miss Kiki.
Yes, shout out Miss Kiki as well.
Deep Throat Conversations, her and Mr. Bendover Beer.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
The whole crew, the whole fam. So, thanks for spending this time with us, y'all. Listen, like, share, subscribe. Get this message out. I mean, there's no need to be fearful when you could be knowledgeable.
That part.
We just need to educate ourselves and stop listening to only what the talking heads. Can't completely ignore them, y'all. I know what some people say, but can't completely ignore them. But because you gotta read the room, you gotta see what direction they're trying to take you in, so you know what direction in which you need to make sure you keep going,
exactly,
or change course. But
that part.
Yeah, man, we gotta protect our kids and. Listen, man, nobody is expendable. We cannot buy into this elitist mindset and message. We all came from somewhere. We all headed some direction or another, and hopefully it's up, up, up together.
For sure. For sure. Gotta save the youth, man. We for the children like Whitney and Wu-Tang, baby. Like Whitney and Wu-Tang.
Facts. Wu-Tang is for the kids.
Word.
Yes.
Word.
Yes, indeed.
For sure, man.
Hey, man. Real quick, what you think about this indictment with Keefe D?
Bruh. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where to start on that one because honestly, I thought the brother already had a deal going on with that. You know what I'm saying? But they saying there's some more stuff that then came out. So I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I guess they figured they had to get somebody, but I'm also hearing that they were saying that that's the biggest open secret in Hollywood. But you wait this long to finally do something after this brother then gave so many interviews and it's been in so many of the stories involved with the whole case.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is this the pound of flesh? I mean, I'm hearing Mr. Combs' name being mentioned in court.
I heard that too. And I mean, shoot, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that like they security when they was out there?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, it's starting to look wild. I mean, it could be. It could be. I don't know. Like, I don't even want to speak on that as far as
Okay.
what's going
Okay.
on. I'm not saying I don't want to speak on it, but I don't want to like say something that I don't know about
Okay.
specifically. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I
I don't.
feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know because I mean that could lead down a whole rabbit hole too, and that could uncover a whole bunch of other names. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Where that whole issue started,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And the thing is, a lot of all of this has already been said on camera.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, all you gotta do is go back and rewind that beautiful beam footage, and they have already implicated themselves, allegedly.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, it's wild. I mean, what I will say is, if this is the truth, then it's gonna be wild. Hip hop might die. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. Hip hop might get locked up. Let's just say that much.
So are we saying that Mr. Combs is hip hop? I mean, what are we saying? I mean,
No, I'm not saying that
oh,
he's
okay,
hip
okay.
hop, but listen, words can spread like wildfire. And the thing is, shoot, he got enough money to hire the best lawyers and attorneys that could hold up stuff for a while. And then on top of that, let's look at it like this too. Think about it. If what's his face already got had a deal with everything and everything has been this long, they could just be like, all right, cool. Let's just say that you did it. We'll allegedly plead it down to so and so and such and such. You can get time served and you got to wear a bracelet for a couple of months. Done deal. All allegedly, because I'm not saying nothing because I don't know nothing.
Got you. Well, I have to say this: Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. You got a lot of money, you're right. You got a lot of influence, but he's also got a lot of people saying that he owed them royalties and rights to their music, and that's been
Yo,
taking place there lately.
yeah, I just
And there's
seen.
been some hush clauses put into some of the paperwork, according to
I
some
didn't
of.
hear about no hush clauses, but
Oh yeah.
I was watching the Raw Digger and Lord Jamar podcast like a couple nights ago, and
Ooh.
they were talking about him giving the royalties back, and one person was like, "Well, shit. What's the purpose of giving the royalties back if they ain't worth as much as they was back in the day? Like he don't really need that." It was like he got his money, his worth out of the royalties, and that was back when people was buying and selling CDs. Well, you got to get that stuff out of streaming now, and it ain't as worth as much. But then the other person was like, "Well, I feel you on that, but." In the climate of this streaming, you have these newer artists who are sampling these songs now. And if you own that publishing from these samples or from these songs that they're sampling, these artists they actually do get these streams off. So you could still live good off of these streams. So I mean, I can see both sides of what they're saying. But still, they was like, dude, like he gave that stuff back when it really wasn't worth as much as it was back then.
Here's the issue though with the streaming is you gotta have like
Yeah, you gotta have a whole
a
brick
million
roll
streams might
to
might be
get something.
$30, like
Yeah,
depending on the deal. And that was one of the artists that I came across. I gotta look it up for you, and for the audience, maybe we'll talk about that, but later on. But she was a Caucasian artist, and she was formerly, I think with Danity Kane maybe. But she was saying that they all got really, really jerked. And even with this, giving you your publishing back and this and that and the other, it's diminished. And a lot of them couldn't
And I
live. And she
think
said
that's what
that
they were
they
saying.
wanted them to be quiet. And she said that she would pay them all each the 9, what was it? The 10 grand or whatever amount it was. She was offering all of the other people involved in the suit that amount that they were going to give them for their publishing, so that they would not be quiet, because they all have key information that would take the case a whole nother direction.
Possibly.
Oh, well, I mean, she's saying definitely, but yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure either. But
Right.
that was her stance, and for her to come out so publicly, I don't know anything about her reputation once again either. So it's just interesting to hear that. Yeah, we might be looking at some other cans of worms opening
Bruh,
up here.
it's about to get crazy with that, bruh. If people start like really talking,
And
if it
I
if it
don't hate to say I told y'all so.
if it start to get funky, maybe that's why they say his new album is fire though. I mean, I haven't heard it, but they say
Who?
his new
Mr.
album fire.
Combs?
Yeah, that's what they say. I haven't heard it though. I
Hey,
mean,
why wouldn't it be? You got the best music money could buy.
true, true indeed. They say that new album fire though. I said I haven't
Hey,
heard.
that
Hey, but also I want to send a shout out and positive energy to everybody out in Morgan State for sure. That
indeed, indeed.
all the victims out there. I hope y'all have a hope nothing's life threatening, and I hope speedy recovery. And same thing to Crazy Bone,
Yes,
Cleveland's
Crazy
own. Same
Bone,
thing to
get
Crazy
well.
Bone. Get
Get
well, my
well.
brother. Get well, my brother.
Divine healing, man, and recovery to you.
For
Uh,
sure.
Divine healing and recovery to the victims of the Maui fires.
That part.
La Haina, my heart goes out to you. Send you energy as well. All other victims of these so-called disasters that could be or could not be allegedly DEW caused. And those of you who don't know that is just check it out. Look into dues, not the dues you pay, but the dues that cost you your life. So, all right, y'all. One love. Thank you for joining the deeper dive.